Hi guys, I'm Nina.
I'm Jamie.
And I'm Ethan.
And we are Bloody Essentials. Just a quick announcements. We just want to thank everybody who's already supported the podcast by liking, following, subscribing. It truly means a lot and it helps the podcast out so much. If you haven't already, please feel free to do so. Share this with your friends because word of mouth is key. Also, quick shout out to Rick Paulton, our Patreon member. Thank you, Rick. If you want to be mentioned in our episodes as well and receive fun little goodies from the Bloody Essentials team, join our Patreon. We have fun perks, including a Discord channel where you can chat directly with us and see all of our pet photos and what we're up to. We'll also be setting up monthly movie parties with our Patreons very soon. And Ethan, you are going to tell us about our upcoming trivia event.
Yes, ma'am. I am certainly excited about this. You're probably all sick of hearing me talk about it, but it is October 4th. It is a Friday. We are going to have a live event on YouTube and Facebook. It is a horror trivia. I'm going to give you a few hints. Go back, listen to all of our past episodes because most of the questions will be coming from there, whether they're about the movies that we did or stuff about us in general. September 21st is the cutoff date. That's when we were going to be picking everybody. First, we're going to take our Patreons, then anybody else who has reached out to us on socials. We're going to say, okay, we're going to put all of your names in a bucket. We're going to pick out 5 names. That way, everybody knows that it's fair. Once we have the 5 names, we'll contact you and let you know exactly how we're going to do it and what we're going to do. We've got 2 prizes, a first place prize and a second place prize. The first place prize is a gift box from Bloody Essentials. The value will be worth $75 to $100, maybe more, unless we need to quit putting stuff in it. And then the second place prize will be $50 to $75, or maybe more. You will get stuff like everything from socks, hats, signed DVDs, independent film DVDs, some that aren't, some that are signed. And of course, you're going to get some merch from Bloody Essentials so you can rep us as well. Yep. We appreciate it. So reach out to us on our social medias and let us know that you want to take part of this.
Yes, definitely. And a gift to our listeners, if you're fans of the Horror House Shop, you can get 10% off at crypticcloset.com. Promo code is Bloody Essentials. All of that information is going to be in the video description as well. Tonight, I am very excited. I'm always excited about our guests that we have on, but this one specifically, we have Neal Gibbons from Graveside Paranormal joining us to talk about some upcoming events that he has planned and just talk about his experience as a paranormal investigator. So thank you.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Thank you.
We're glad you're here.
Yeah, I'm glad. I'm glad.
Yeah. So tell our listeners, how did you become a paranormal researcher? What does, how did that passion start for you?
Well, I don't know if it was really a passion. What happened was I was a little kid. I was about maybe 7 or 8 years old. A lot of people who are in this investigators, paranormal researchers, it's not that you were looking for the paranormal. Sometimes in people's lives, the paranormal finds them. And, you just trip over it, if you will. And you just stumble upon it. And what happened was when I was about 7 years old, I grew up on the south side of Chicago. And my mom and dad were going through a horrible divorce. And like I tell everybody, and I know people have heard it, it's not a boo-hoo-hoo story. This is a boo story. What happened was my mom, she used to wake up every night between 2 or 3 o'clock every night in the morning, 2, 3 a.m. And she'd be screaming at the top of her lungs. And we would go inside of her room, wake her up. She didn't know that she was screaming. Okay. And so what happened was this became like clockwork. And so one night I woke up between the 2 and 3 o'clock a.m. and I just opened my eyes. I'm looking in the hallway and I see this small impish looking creature. And the thing is staring at me. I would say it's about 2 feet tall. And I was just telling Dave the other day, it's about, the shoulders were about shoulders were very large. Shoulders were wide. Okay. What was it? 2 foot. It was about as wide as he was tall. So And so he looks at me and he smiles. And then he looks inside my mom's room and then smiles and looks back at me one more time. And then he proceeds into my mom's room. And then my mom starts screaming. How I explain this is demons are real, okay? But so are angels. So I want everybody to understand, there's a flip of every coin, right? So what it is when we let our defenses down, we invite these things into our lives. It's not like, and as much as I love a good horror movie, because believe me, I love horror movies, like The Conjuring or Exorcist or whatever. But the thing is, it's not like it was seen. Why? Because that's entertainment. But when we let our defenses down, these things enter into our lives. You got to think of it as like a door. And slowly you opened up this door and these things are starting to come in. And the more and more you get into the negativity in your life, either through drugs, alcohol, and I'm not trying to preach. Everybody does what they do. But it's true. And this door will get wider and wider. And it becomes very hard to close as we continue on. It's not you that notices it. It's usually your family members. So that's actually how I got into the paranormal, and I started researching things after that. I found out that these things supposedly are called imps, but they come in threes. I never saw a two other one. They're supposed to show some kind of disturbance in your life and just cause anarchy in your life, and they're little imps.
Wow.
Yeah. You don't want to wake up in the middle of the night and see these guys. Trust me.
And how did you kind of start to learn more and kind of like hone what you knew about this?
Well, I've always kind of been into it, but I also suppressed a lot of things in my life. I think I was young. So when you're young, you get scared, you get nervous. You don't understand things. You really don't. I think I suppressed a lot of it. And I used to work for the sheriff's department. I retired back in December. I did 30 years for the sheriff's department. I dealt with psych inmates for 22 years. And when I worked midnights, because I worked midnights 28 years, I had access to listen to Art Bell every night, the late, great Art Bell of Coast to Coast AM. And I would read books and this and that. And working for a department, everybody who's in law enforcement or nursing or any of that stuff, we all talk about ghosts and stuff like that, and the paranormal and the supernatural. It's because it's actually not part of your job, but things that occur on the jobs, weird and paranormal and supernatural things. Like if I could tell you a quick story, I'll tell you one.
Please. Absolutely. Yes. Please.
So this is a true story. This happened some years ago. We had this large kid at the jail, right? And the nurses and the psych workers were just really, really nervous and scared of him. And they said to me, Gibby, we all go by last names, and my last name's Gibbons, but we all have nicknames. So they just said, Gibby, go downstairs and go get this guy, will you? And I said, yeah, I'll go get him. It's not like I explained, I'm not a tough guy, but I have a job to do and I do it. Yeah. So I go down there. He's a big kid. He tried killing his mother and father. Okay. And the first when I'm walking up on him, I smell a certain distinct smell that I've smelled before. Because I've met individuals that I believe are possessed. I believe that there's actually a fine line between psychiatry and possession. Now, I'm not knocking psychiatry.
Sure.
Because I worked with a lot of people who were in psychiatry, psych workers, and they'll agree with me. Not all of them, but a lot of them will agree with you that it's a fine line between these things. So I go up to him and I smell this burnt rubber tire. And for me, that's a sign of some kind of possession. A certain smell upon certain people. So I walk up on him and I can see that he's kind of like simple-minded. So I say, hey, buddy, you want to go to bed? He goes, yeah, I'd like to go to bed now. I said, all right, dude. I go, so let me take you up this elevator. And I start talking to him. And I said, you like superheroes? He goes, yeah. He goes, mine's Spider-Man. I go, mine's Batman. And so we're talking. So part of what I do for a living, you have to have social skills. You have to be able to talk to people.
Sure.
So I take him upstairs, and the nurses and the psych workers go, Gibby, just put him inside the cell. Just put him inside the cell, please. And he puts his hand, and now this is a big kid. He's about 25 years old. He puts his hand on my shoulder. He goes, we like you. I said, oh, thank you very much. I appreciate it. I like you all too. And so I put him inside the cell. But take back, he said, we.
Right.
Yeah.
And so that's not the end of our story, though. So sometime later, this young man was inside what we call a single cell. And he was screaming at the top of his lungs, "Hey, get me out of here. There's something not right." In a report that was written, it's in a report. The officer walked up on him and saw nothing but the whites of his eyes, and that's in the report.
Whoa.
Officer got distracted, went to the next room over, and he came back and he found this young man laying dead on the ground with his foot in the toilet.
Wow.
Nobody was inside the room. No one was inside the room.
Wow.
So now it's a crime scene, right? So this young man, after that, they had the autopsy and this and that, but now we got to utilize the room again after some weeks. So we put another guy in what we call FLRs, full leather restraints, so he doesn't harm anyone or harm himself. He starts screaming at the top of his lungs sometime after 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning, "Get this guy out of here. Get him out of here." Once again, single cell. You're tied down to a bed. No one's allowed in there other than staff.
Sure.
We go in there. We said, "What's wrong, dude? What's wrong with you?" He goes, "There's a guy in here playing with my toes." He gave the full physical description of that young man.
Whoa.
Whoa.
Yeah. He had the full. Everybody's like this, and I was telling people. And because we all joke with each other, you go, "Shut up, Gibby," yeah, stop acting that way. And I said, "No, I'm telling you, that's a possessed kid." And so the minute we walked out of the cell, book bags started flying off the shelf, off the desks. And my lieutenant calls. He goes, "Gibby, what the heck is going on down there, dude?" I said, "I don't know, Lou." He goes, "Well, aren't you supposed to be doing this? Don't you do this stuff?" I said, I told you. Even at the meeting that we had, I told you about this kid. And he goes like this, "Yeah, you did." He goes, "You did." It's not like we could call a priest or something like that.
Right.
But I advised him of what I thought, because I worked there for a very long time. So they're going to listen to people who've been there a minute.
Yeah.
But that's a story, and that's a very true story. That happened some time back, though.
Wow. So, sorry, I'm captivated by the story. Did they end up like keeping people out of that room for a while, or did multiple people experience issues in that room, or what?
So
I know in psych wards usually you have to fill the beds, so like
right, you have to fill the beds, but it wasn't exactly. It took about 2 weeks before we utilized the bed again. I can tell you that.
Right.
But it is a jail, so it's a jail.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of things that happen inside the jail, but anything other than that, after that fact, not that I know of.
You mentioned like that sometimes when you smell a certain smell, it's kind of a sign to you. What are some other signs of like paranormal activity, other signs that you kind of look for?
So
I'm an
empath. So I get people's emotions, especially when I go into haunted areas. And some of the things that, like, we went to the Lake County Jail to go investigate, right? And I'll take on spirits' emotions, but I'll get people's emotions too. But I try my best not to unless I'm invited to. I really do. But that's actually one of the best things about doing what I did for a living is like you can feel when something's going to happen, when something ain't right. But and I also hear voices out of my left ear. For whatever reason, it's always out of my left ear. It's not in my other ear, my right ear. It's always my left. And so we were leaving the Lake County Jail, and I got these strong emotions of jealousy and hatred. And when you get these kind of attachments, it may take a moment, or it may take a little bit longer than a moment to get rid of these things. Like this one here, the Lake County Jail was probably the worst one I ever had. It took me about 2 weeks to get rid of these attachments. And what it is I tell people, you can use whatever you want, whatever makes you feel comfortable. You can use oils, candles, whatever gets you through that day. But I'm going to tell you the one main thing is one simple thing, and it's faith. You can have, and I'm not telling you what religion to believe in. You would choose. But as long as you have faith in yourself each and every day to each and every night, from the moment you wake up to you place your head on your pillow, you're going to do good. And good things will follow you after that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So what are some of the tools, like if you use any tools to kind of help you on paranormal investigations?
So I don't know if you've guys seen any of the videos that we do on YouTube, but we have a thing that's called the Anahata Spirit Portal Box. Have you seen it, Jamie?
I have, yeah.
If you go to a thing called Direct Spirit Communication, and your listeners and viewers go to a thing called direct spirit communication. We have it where a lady at the Thornton Distillery, you guys know where Thornton, Illinois is.
Yes.
And we had it where this lady was having direct contact with her dead mother-in-law. I mean, her mother-in-law was asking her questions and she was answering it.
Wow.
When you see this video, it's only like 3 minutes long, 2 minutes and 55 seconds. And she is making communication with her deceased mother-in-law. So that's one of the things that we use. They have so many of these tools that are out there. And I think a lot of them are very overpriced. And I think some of them have too much on them. I think one of your easiest things to actually always just have is an EMF detector and a recording device.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. These are cute and this and that, and I have a lot of them. I've wasted a lot of money on them. I've gone and bought these things. I have a whole closet full of these freaking things.
Yeah.
But it's to test them out to see how well they do. But our Anahata Spirit Portal Box, which was created by Steve Lineweber, he was the partner with me on Graveside Paranormal. He created it, and the thing is he's not even into the paranormal. He had a dream, and he built this box. And this box, when it works, man, it works. Like if you go and see one of our video, and I do it on my ghost tours. Because you guys live in the Chicagoland area, feel free. We have tickets out very soon. We have it where at Bachelor's Grove Cemetery, on the trail of Bachelor's Grove Cemetery, I started noticing that the voices are in reverse when they're on the spirit box. Wow. Some people might also have an EVPs. So I took it into the Audacity program and I reversed, ran a forward plane, and we started getting voices like Angel Michael. I had his training. Or like, hey, Neal. And now these are voices that you're hearing in reverse.
Wow.
But when you change it up, now you're going to hear it all the way through. That's on Glimpses. That's one of the first videos we ever put out. But Bachelor's Grove Cemetery is a very, very, it's very real. That place is very real. Have you all been there before?
I live very close to it. Yes.
Oh, you live close to it?
Yes. I've been to it. Yes. It's very,
I haven't.
We'll go sometime, Jamie. It's gorgeous.
Okay. I need to go now.
I'm going to warn you. People, there's a form of possession that happens on the grounds of Bachelor's Grove Cemetery. And everything I tell you is Neal's opinion, okay? Some other people may not agree with it, and that's all fine and good. Because this is the kind of thing where doing what I do, there's no such things as experts in this field. There is none. There's only good researchers who notice trends in environments and places. Okay, that's it. Until I drop dead and come back and tell you what's going on, I don't know nothing until I learn it. So Bachelor's Grove Cemetery, in my opinion, has a form of possession. What happened was in the 1950s and 60s, people started noticing blue orbs of light bouncing around in the cemetery. And so that's going to attract people in, yes?
Yeah.
But it's also going to attract in people who have negativity, cult-like activity, and they're going to come inside this place, and they're going to try to open up things that they know nothing about. Yeah. Not that I do, but you're going to try to open something you know nothing about, but still don't know how to close it. Yeah. You're playing with things that you shouldn't be playing with.
Yeah.
And this ground here, so you start with an infestation. The infestation are these people who are coming on the grounds of Bachelor's Grove Cemetery. And just so you know, it's not the cemetery that's really haunted. It's the land that surrounds it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you have an infestation of these people bringing in negativity. And then we get to the part of possession that's called oppression. So what they're doing is, think of it as like ants to a tree. These guys are going like ants to a tree, and they're eating away and eating away and eating away at this tree until what happens? It starts to break down. We're going through oppression now. Then we start to get obsession, and then leads to possession. You're going to find out that, Jamie, if you go there, you're going to want to go again. And we're talking about something that is only in 1 acre, okay, and it's disheveled. It looks very nice in the fall. Don't get me wrong. It looks beautiful in the fall.
Yeah.
But there's really nothing majorly beautiful about it, if you ask me. The thing that I do like about it is in the fall, like I said, you walk down the trail. It's like an encompassing walkway, and it just totally surrounds you. It is cool. But a lot of people also believe that there might be portals inside this place. There's some stories I can talk about. There's some stories I can't talk about. But what I truly do believe is that there's a form of possession that is going in on those grounds, and be very careful. There are attachments. I'm going to tell you a quick story. I have a lot of stories. Sorry.
No,
okay.
We like stories.
So one time I was working midnights, right? And I just got through doing a ghost tour at Bachelor's Grove Cemetery. And on the back end of Bachelor's Grove Cemetery, I tell people to take pictures of their boo buddy, the person who sits closest to the window. Faces start showing up in the window on the bus. And we go into a place called Gaelic Park after that. And everybody shows their pictures. And everybody's like, look at this, look at this. It's some weird thing that happens at the back end where that soccer field is. When we pull the bus in, I tell everybody when we get loaded back in, take a picture of your person closest to the seat. And a lot of times we start getting pictures of faces in the windows inside there. So one time I went home and I still had to go to work that day. So I was working midnights and I decided to take a nap. I left my window open. It was like around fall, and I could feel something coming in through the window. And I was like, oh my God, what is this thing? And the shake that I had was like no other shake I've ever had in my life. My hand to God. It was such a bad shake. And I remember talking to a guy who is a demonologist. He said, Neal, if you ever get certain things happen to you, say by the blood of Jesus Christ, demon be gone. Yeah.
Absolutely, 100%.
Right. I'm assuming you've used this.
I absolutely have.
Right.
Absolutely.
And like I talk about, Ethan, it's about the faith. Any person can say these words, but if you don't have the good energy to project it, it's not going to work, man.
Absolutely.
So I explained to him. So I said, with all my power, all my input, all into the environment, I said, by the blood of Jesus Christ, you do not belong here. You go back from which you came.
That's right.
And all of a sudden, I still had a little bit shaking me, but it was gone. And it was like up in the corner of my room, a top corner. I knew that's where it was. And I knew it was looking at me, man.
Oh my gosh.
I'm telling you, the shake I had was like no other. I really started questioning what I'm doing. I'm driving to work going, Neal, you got to stop doing this crazy stuff. This is getting out of control. Yeah, like I said, and the other thing is that it's not for everybody. This is not for everybody. Everybody goes out and does these things. You have to be aware, especially if you're a very sensitive person, of what you're going to be bringing home. It's very real. People go, they laugh and they joke and this and that. But once you start noticing certain negative things are happening in your life, or it's actually your family members, there's something going on, man.
Yeah. Do you think it makes an unsafe environment when you're in particular situations? Like, I know a lot of people think that it like offends whatever.
Okay. All right. Take for instance the thing that you see, the advertisement behind me, the seance, right? Mm-hmm. So I put out these ads, and I already know there's going to be certain people who are out there who are going to be going, I rebuke you in the name of the Lord Jesus Christ. Okay, that's your belief, man.
Yeah.
I'm not. You see, I think people are misinterpreting what I am doing, and I'm going to explain to you exactly what I'm doing. I'm doing a thing called the seance, okay, with DeEtte Renee, as well as Dave and some of a lot of the other crew. It's about positivity. I'm going to tell you a quick story. How I got this idea is actually from my mom. My mom passed a while back, right? And it was around the time of my birthday. She died about like 3-4 weeks before my birthday. And I was at work, and I kept thinking about how my mom always gave me a birthday card with $20 in it. No matter what, that got to the mailbox, man. And I got it every year, and I was still like a little kid, I opened it up and I enjoyed it. But it wasn't the $20. It was because your mom gave it to you.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm sitting at my desk going, man, I'm gonna miss that this year. And so I'm projecting out something very emotional for me. Mm-hmm. So I noticed something behind near my front door of my office, something fall from the ground. And I said, all right, I'll grab it when I get my bag together and this and that. And I got my bag together, and I walked over there, and on the ground was a happy birthday card.
Whoa.
Yeah. And so I took that as a sign from my mom.
Sure.
I did. That's me. That's my personal thing. You can believe or not believe. Once
Right.
again, like I was saying, leave it for
Yeah.
other people to believe or not to believe.
Yeah.
Don't let them upset you or anything like that.
Right.
Because that's how they're just gonna get off on that.
Yeah.
So the reason why I'm doing is if I can have something emotionally like that happen for me, I want to see if I can get 200 or 300 people together. We do this seance, and understand we're not summoning something evil. If that's what anybody's thinking that we're doing, this isn't for you. This is not for you.
Yeah.
I want people, when we get there, I want you to think of somebody that you truly, truly love. You need to find forgiveness in something. I want to put out as much positivity as we can for this night at the seance, and what kind of evidence we can bring forth after that. So this is not about bringing out anything manipulative. It's about bringing out something positive for people. And if I can get you, each and every one of you, to walk away and say, you know what? That feeling that I felt of wanting to listen to my mom, my dad, or someone who's loved one for one moment in time, then I did a good thing. And that's one of the main things behind what I'm doing.
Love that.
Love that too. And you actually do paranormal investigations too for folks, right? Who believe something's going on in their house, don't know exactly what's going on. I imagine that it's pretty rewarding, like helping people go through this.
Yeah, but it's after some time though, it starts becoming a liability. It's not that I won't help people and I don't charge people to do this. There's actually a lot of groups out there like myself who do that, but there's a catch to everything. Don't ever think there isn't. The catch is if I find any kind of evidence, that then becomes Graveside Paranormal. That we own that then,
Right.
because I
Yeah.
put forth the effort of finding it.
Sure.
That's all I ever ask.
Mhm.
But it starts to become a liability because, like I said before, there is a line between a psych disorder and people who truly have something going on. And I have to recognize that, and I have to understand that going into a situation that there might be somebody, because I've come across people who want to be part of a show. They watch all these shows that are on TV and they think they can sucker Neal in, do everything.
Yeah.
I'm like your clown, I'm an entertainer.
Right.
And so there's people out there, but there are serious people out there who do have serious problems. And I'll help out, but what I do is a pre-investigation. I have to talk to you and this and that, and I'll come out and I'll set up recording devices. But one of the things I recommend to people is always make sure that you have some kind of witness with you. Bring someone, because all it takes is one accusation, and then Neal's getting all locked up eating a choke sandwich at the old county jail.
Right.
And tell me a little bit more about the Roth House. Like, how did you kind of become aware of this place, and tell us a little bit about it.
So I was researching, and I remembered. Do you guys know Jack Chavez?
No,
I do.
Right. Jack Chavez, I know we were talking about one day, and he does the Paranormal Chicago conference every year. He's the owner of that. And Jack, good guy, real nice guy. I remember him talking to me about it, and then it piqued my interest. So I went out there, I met with the owner, John, and we talked, and I started, I used to run a thing called Parapalooza, where it's kind of like the seance thing, it's a convention. And we started doing investigations inside there, and we learned the story that it's the first documented possession in America. You ever hear of a thing called the walk-in?
Yes.
No.
Yeah.
You've heard it, Nina.
I
It's
haven't.
where supposedly a soul of a deceased person walks into the body of a living person
Oh.
and somehow takes control.
Okay.
But there's also the regular thing of like some kind of spirits or entities are out there that also cause possession. So it's actually called it's called the Watsika Wonder. It's the first documented possession in America, but it's more of a spiritual miracle. That's one of the other reasons why I picked this place, and I'll tell you. So it's about this girl named Mary Roth, about 18 years of age. This girl, it was about 1865. She was sent away to the Mantino Institution because she was very clairvoyant, but she was mislabeled. And she was taken to the mental institution because back in that day, they would say things like, save the parents, get rid of the child. It was a community thing. Like you would be shunned upon if you had something like that. Like if you had a special needs child that was, always causing problems and this and that. What they would do is they just do away with these people.
Yeah.
And so she had very clairvoyant abilities. And so they did away with her, and she passed away supposedly inside of the institution. There's actually a gray area. Either it was in the institution or somewhere else, but she did pass away at the age of 18. So fast forward about 14 more years in the same community. This is what's really weird. The same community in Watsika, only blocks apart, introduced you to a girl named Lorancy Venom. Lorancy Venom had the same kind of things going on, the clairvoyant abilities, not exactly the same, but pretty darn close.
Mm.
And so the parents were going to do the same thing to this 14-year-old girl and put her in an institution. The father of the first girl, Mary Roth, came into the picture, Asa Roth. And he said, can I talk to your daughter? Can I bring in this hypnotist, Dr. E. Winchester and Stevens, E. Winchester Stevens? And they agreed to it. And they brought her over to their house that you see behind me, the Roth house. Mm. And he started doing that, and different spirits started entering and leaving this girl. And then all of a sudden, a girl by the name of Mary came into the picture. And she noticed and she recognized her dad, Asa Roth. Mary Roth was also a cutter. And she had bad cuts on her arm and this and that. That's how she was. That's how a lot of people who are possessed and have those abilities actually do. Once again, fine line between psych and possession. Sure. Is that they bring comfort to themselves by doing these things. Some people do. Not me. I don't think I could. But yeah. So this young girl, Lorancy Venom, the spirit of Mary Roth enters inside of her. And all of a sudden, she starts recognizing everybody, starts talking about family members and this and that. And she's telling people that Lorancy Venom is in heaven for 100 days. And then after those 100 days, Lorancy Venom came back into the body, her original body. Mary Roth then went back to heaven. Now, think if you were a parent for a second. Asa Roth and Dorothy Roth, the parents. Two great things probably happened. The healing ability, spiritual healing that happened to Lorancy Venom, but maybe also forgiveness that happened for Asa Roth and Dorothy Roth. And that's one of the other reasons why I'm having it here, is because I want to bring that positivity. I believe that the house is built upon a thing called ley lines that the Native Americans used to believe had supernatural abilities. Mm-hmm. When you go through this house every now and then, and I'm not promising it, but you'll hear disembodied voices of a girl, and everybody will hear it. So I remember one time I brought a group down there, and they go, she goes, "Hi, how are you?" And everybody's like, "Oh my God," and she was totally down in the basement area that day. But we get a lot of very good evidence inside there.
So tell our listeners more about the seance. When is it? How do they get tickets? All of that good stuff.
All right. So you can go to my Facebook site, which is Graveside Paranormal. You can go on there and go to our Eventbrite link. And it's going to be October 26, 2024 in Watsika, Illinois. We're running ghost tours from 1 to 7 o'clock. And then at 7:30, we're going to be having Diet Renee do the seance. Then we're going to start ghost tours again up at 9 p.m. all the way up till 2 o'clock in the morning. What everybody will get is 1 hour inside the house. All your recordings, I'm going to have it sent to your email for you to discover at home. I want to make you part of the investigator. I'm big about entertaining people. I want you to feel like you had a great time. We are going to make sure that there's going to be speakers like Dave Schrader from the Holzer Files is going to be over at the museum. He's going to be speaking over there. I got Sam Marantov from MUFONI's director of MUFONI's going to be talking about UFOs and the Mothman. I also have AJ True Crime. We're going to be having the Chicagoland museum, paranormal museum there. He's going to show you a bunch of supposedly attachments to dolls.
Oh.
Yeah, he's got haunted objects, basically haunted objects.
Ooh. So
he's going to have those there, and we're going to have it over at the train station. And all these things are not that far apart. And we're going to have it where it's all on Eventbrite. The train station is going to have other vendors. We're going to have it on Eventbrite. We tell people to use the Eventbrite so you could reserve your event. We have 4 different tiers. The $45 tier ticket includes the vendors, the speakers, being able to go down in the basement of the museum, which was the original lockup down there, and you're going to have a couple of investigators out there let you use spirit boxes down there. We're going to have that out there, and that's for the $45 ticket, which includes the Roth House investigation. The second tier ticket is basically vendors, speakers, basement of the museum, as well as to be able to see the seance as well. And that's on the tier 1 as well, the seance. Then we have 2 bonus tickets. One is a $55 one, which is, well, let me get to a third one, which is the $65 one, which is 10 people around Diet or with Diet holding hands. And then this fourth one is 20 people around her. And all the people who bought the tier 1 and 2s will be, I know it sounds a little confusing, right? You're probably like, what? It's on our FAQs. Check it out.
Okay.
And everybody else will be able to witness. You are then going to be the investigator. I want people to take photos and this and that. Because I'm telling you, it's the audience, it's the customers that get majority of all my evidence. Because there's so many people out there. But you can go to the seance at the Roth House, which is, you can just click on my Facebook. Everything's there. You can get it. I put out an ad almost every day with something about it on there. And then you can just click on it. I want to make this very entertaining for people. But at the end, I want to make sure that people walk away feeling a little bit better about themselves. I really do. It's important to me.
I love that.
Okay.
And all of the links will be in our description. I'm also going to include them on our link tree, so that way it's easier to access, and all the information is on the website. So it would be great.
Absolutely. Now, will there be a cutoff of how many people that you can have?
Yes. So for the tier 1 will be a total of 200 tickets. The tier 2, which is the $25 ticket, be a total of 75. For the bonus tickets, the $65 one is only up to 10 people. The $55 one is only up to 20 people. If we were able to sell out almost everything, we're going to be at close to 300 people.
Okay.
So still very.
Oh, and I tell people dress up. It's Halloween, damn it.
Yeah.
Dress up. Come out with your best costume.
Absolutely.
Let's make it Halloween, man.
Yes.
Yes, absolutely.
Seriously. And, do you have any tips for people who are maybe, kind of doing a paranormal investigation for their first time or have never experienced something like this? And like, how do people keep like a good mind for that? Like, what tips do you have for a first timer?
Well, I would say, number 1, don't do your own house. Don't ever do your own house, because then you're going to get obsessed. And then you're going to draw things into your home. You don't want to do that. Go to something that's kind of like a tame kind of investigation, rent out one of these places. Don't go for something like the Monroe House right off the bat. The Monroe House is a very, very active negative house. You want to go something actually like the Roth House. It's not a plug, but you want to do something like a Roth House where it's a spiritually activated house, which isn't really you're not going to really get any attachments there.
Yeah.
Sure.
That's one thing that you want to watch out for, man. So you want to take your time and do not do your own house or your mom's house or your grandma's house. Don't do that stuff.
What advice would you give to people wanting to become a paranormal investigator, like professionally?
Professionally, to do it now, if you're going to do it and you're working a full-time job, because I had a full-time job, and it's not easy to go to a lot of these places.
Yeah.
Get yourself a good team together, but your teams are going to come and go. They just go in and out, because everybody has something else going on in their lives eventually. Everybody's all in it at first.
Yeah.
But things happen. Get yourself a good team together. Buy just some easy things like EMFs and recorders. Don't get crazy. Don't be pulling out that credit card and go buy yourself an SLS and this and that, because you're going to go broke.
Yeah.
Right.
Don't do that stuff. Just take your time and just enjoy it. Number 1, just enjoy it, and get yourself a program where you can upload it on the computer, and get yourself some good headphones so you can listen for your evidence. That's one of the main things, is get yourself, like Wondershare, Audacity, something, and put your evidence up there and have 2 or 3 of you listen to it at the same time. Number 1, you're going to argue about it, but in the end, you guys are going to come to a conclusion. That it's fun when it happens, but you're going to have it where teams are going to come in and out of your lives. It's just the way it goes.
I'd love to, if you could share like another really memorable investigation in the Chicago area, just one that stuck with you, whether it was just really interesting, whether it was really emotional, just one that stuck out.
Do you guys like haunted doll stories?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
I thought you might.
definitely.
All right. So on our bus, me and my wife, right? You know the store Savers, right? You know the secondhand stop Savers, right?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So I go to Savers and I buy props, I go around looking for things just for giggles, people have a good time. And I bought some dolls and I put them on the bus, I was like, oh, it's a haunted doll, da da da. Me and my wife started noticing this one haunted doll everybody goes to, and they always hold it like this, and they hold it really tight for whatever happens. Me and my wife started noticing this. And so we paid attention to it. And then one day we went out with this group of ladies, and this lady was like, she was very adamant, I want this doll. I said, ma'am, I can't give you this doll. I go, there's a possibility it could be haunted. I go, I don't know yet. I go, we're still trying to process this. She goes, no, I want this doll. And I said, well, ma'am, now I don't know if you noticed, but I'm a little dramatic. And it's probably the whole tour guide. Like this, where I could tell her, I go, well, ma'am, there's a process to doing what we do. And she goes, well, what is it? I go, you have to follow through with what I say to you at this time. I, Neal Gibbons, and I hand her the doll like this. I'm going to give you possession of this here doll. And I need you to tell me your full name that you're going to take possession of this doll. And she does all that. I go, now you have this doll and everything that goes with it. Good luck. And she sits down and she takes it to her, to the place that she worked. She worked at a hospital, right? And they swore that the thing was bringing bad luck there, and people were walking around and this and that. And I mean, that the doll was walking around or moving around. Now, of course, anybody could be moving a doll, of course.
Right.
I'm not an idiot.
Yeah.
But they swore, and they actually took it to my wife's office because they worked with my wife, and they threw it on some chair. And she goes, take this back. And they had it in the old plastic laundry bag, and it was given back to me. It's been there ever since, right? So when you go on the bus, you'll see it. If you ever go on the bus, it'll be up there. So this guy comes up to me, and he says to me, he goes, can I hold the doll? I said, yeah, just for a little bit. He goes, no, I want to hold this doll. And he held it just like we always notice people hold it. He says, I want this doll. I need this doll. I said, you can't have this doll. I go, seriously, I can't make this mistake twice. And I go, I'll let you hold it. I go, but you have to give it back to me at the end of the day. He says, all right. So then the next following day after the tour, I get this long letter from his wife. How dare you bring a haunted object on a bus, and let people hold it and this and that. On the way home, we almost hit a deer. My husband went to go use the ice maker and got electrocuted. And then my son opened up a window and it fell on his fingers and crushed his fingers. And I said to myself, ma'am, I go, I don't know what to say. I go, don't get me wrong, it's a storyline, but it's based off what real facts are going on. And so nowadays, I just let people take a picture with the doll. I make a lot of mistakes doing what I do. You really do. Because like I said, there's no such thing as experts.
Right.
Yeah, so it is what it is.
So on the 26th, when we come, I want to hold the doll.
I'll have it there. I'll let you take a picture with it. But I want you to understand is that any emails I get from you at the end, I'm going to probably discard.
Yes, we are definitely coming on the 26th. Like, I'm so excited. Yes. I do want to ask you, because you have a podcast as well, Paranormal Guys. How did that get started? Tell us a little bit about like what you guys discuss on there.
Well, what we discuss on there is paranormal, supernatural, anything weird. Me and a guy by the name of Scotty Rorick, we are the Paranormal Guys. It's a play on words called the Pair, P-A-I-R, and then dash normal guys. Because we really are. I'm actually just a very normal guy. Like, I'm into sports. I'm into all kinds of things. I have a family. I'm not somebody who is like, take for instance, the Anahata. I'm not obsessed with this stuff. Yeah. I use it when I need to use it. They're tools. Just like if I have to use a hammer to put up a painting or something like that. But it's because I know don't get obsessed with these things. But the paranormal guys, it's a podcast about anything weird or supernatural, and I show you evidence. Like you guys have StreamYard, I have StreamYard, and I show up pictures, I show up videos of things. We do like news and stuff like that.
Do you ever like try to debunk common myths or misconceptions when it comes to paranormal research?
Yeah, like we were talking about this supposed Bigfoot, me and Scotty the other day, right? Now, I don't know if you guys have noticed, but people have been putting out a lot of Bigfoot pictures lately.
Yeah.
And this one, I'm like, I don't know, man. Now, I believe in Bigfoot. I believe there is a Bigfoot. I truly do.
Oh, yeah.
But it's only because of that one picture in this 1950s. What was it called? Patterson, the Patterson film. And the muscles in those thighs and that ass. I mean, sorry.
No, you can cuss. It's fine.
All those muscles, they're in that lower part of that torso. Those you can see them moving.
Yeah.
I really do believe that there is something out there. They believe that there are multi-dimensional creatures. So once again, leave it up to the people. You decide.
Oh, we do too. Jamie's actually a big Mothman and Bigfoot fan.
Oh,
so.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
actually, Sam Moranto is going to be out at our thing. He, like I say, he's a UFO guy, but he's a Mothman guy. And I'm also going to have Bob Anderson from Bob After Dark out there, and people call him the Mothman. So
Yes.
he'll be out.
Ooh.
I love that.
Yeah. He'll be actually one of the tour guides. He'll be one of the tour guides.
I'm seeing
that is so fun.
I'm seeing a plane trip
Yes.
in your
Jamie's
future.
Yes.
Maybe.
See, I'm in Tucson,
She's
so I'm
in-
going to have to fly there, but it's so worth it.
Yeah.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I hope to see you. Oh, and I do recommend to if any of your customers are going to go out, get yourself a hotel. I have to actually talk to people tomorrow of trying to get a code to get 10 or 15% off at a certain hotel, because I want to make sure everybody's experience is well. And I don't want people spending a lot of money, because you're actually going to see that a lot of the prices I have are very reasonable prices. I'm not asking for anything that's crazy.
Yeah. No, I
Nice.
was looking at your the ticket prices just earlier today, and I was like, because around spooky season there's always ghost researchers and all this stuff, and I was like, that's pretty reasonably priced compared to what I'm used to seeing for these investigations. So very, very excited. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, because we're also going to be filming the documentary. We've already gone through with Diet. We've already gone through stage 1 and 2.
Yeah.
And all the customers are going to be stage 3.
Right.
And everybody's going to be part of this thing. I want to make everybody part of this.
Now, tell us more about this documentary, because that's how I heard about you, was through our friends with Tribe Productions.
Oh, okay. So what we did is me and Larry and Diet, we all went out there and we started filming. I told them about the history. Well, I didn't tell Diet. Diet came. I'm going to tell you something about Diet, man. She is really good at what she does. And people can say, oh, whatever, psychics, mediums. Diet was able to tell all the timelines. She thought she was totally off. But you see, I was paying attention to her. And I explained to her in the end why she was understanding certain things. And you're also going to see it in the video. She's spot on with a lot of things. And I don't want to give too much away, but I think you're really going to enjoy the documentary and the evidence. I believe we caught it some very good evidence for each and every one of you enjoying. But the big evidence will be on that night on the 26th. That's the night that I want to see something really big happen. Hoping, anyways.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, me too. Oh.
When does the documentary release? Do you guys know yet?
No, I have no idea yet. I would love to have it out by spring, but we all have other things going on, as well as like I got to run my ghost tours throughout the Chicagoland area, as well as do this event. So every single day that I wake up, I have to call people, get things done. But during the holidays and stuff, after the holidays, me and Larry are going to get everything together and start going through all the evidence.
Awesome. Well, let us know. Keep us posted, because we would love to have you all back on and talk more about it and promote it as much as we can.
Oh, I appreciate it.
Yeah. Definitely. Now, what other ghost tours around the Chicago area do you guys do?
So I do the stories, The Miracle Child of Chicago, Mary Alice Quinn. I don't know if you've ever heard this story. It's a very nice story about a young girl who, the moment that she was born, had a heart ailment. And no matter what, she never lost her faith. She died an untimely death of 14 years of age. But she also, after she died, people would go to her grave at Holy Sepulchre Cemetery near 111th and Ridgeland and go pray as hard as they could, and miracles would happen. But you have to come on the bus tour for me to tell you the whole story.
Okay.
And I tell you about the butcher of Palis Park. I tell you all about Resurrection Mary.
Of course.
I tell you, I explain it in a way that I think you're going to be like this. I did not know this.
Yeah.
But some people walk away going, I don't believe him. And that's fine. That's fine. I don't want you to believe everything Neal tells you. But we talk about that. We talk about how haunted Archer Avenue is. We go into Archer Woods Cemetery. There's a lot of shadow people inside there, and we catch them a lot in pictures. If you go up on my things, you're going to see a lot of pictures of shadow people. I'll send it. I'm going to send it to your email when I'm done. I'll send you guys
Please.
some pictures.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Because we will definitely go on one of your ghost tours. Everything that you've just talked about, because I grew up in Cicero and I live out here. I've heard all of these stories, and I'm like, yes, I want to go on with these.
I make it a lot of fun for people. We go on there. I make sure there's videos and music on there. I tell you all the stories. We go to bars and restaurants as we go along. It's not a boring trip. It's 4.5 hours of keep going, having fun.
I love that so much.
Oh, that sounds fun.
And when do they start up?
We're going to start, I believe it's October 11th. Yeah, October 11th, which is a Friday. 11th to 12th, the 19th and the 20th, I think, and then the 25th and 26th. And I had private ones I have to also do in the month of October.
Very fun.
Oh, awesome.
You'll definitely be seeing us on one of them.
Oh, yeah. And just so you know, it's not like I'm trying to pat myself on the back. Buy them early because they sell out very quick.
Oh, definitely.
I bet. Yeah.
Good to know.
I've enjoyed it.
I have too. I am a big believer in the paranormal. I do have one question to kind of round us out a little bit because, spooky season is coming up very fast. And I just want to ask, what's one of the scariest experiences you've had, whether it's professionally or personally?
Professionally or personally? Well, it was that one about the that thing came inside my room. And that's when I started questioning things. Yeah. There's been quite a few, but I would say definitely the scariest one was that one where you can feel that presence, that entity inside of my room before I went to work. But I'll tell you a quick one. The Sally House. Have you ever heard of the Sally House in Atchison, Kansas?
Yes.
Very real place. There's two very strong entities inside there. And what they'll try to do is they'll try to get into the back end of your neck. Their presence will try to get through the back end of your neck and try to get inside you. But you're going to, if you're somebody who does what I do, you're going to recognize it. But for other people, they don't. And I've seen videos of some people and they pass out. I've seen this video of this young man where he passed out. And there's two very strong entities. And once you start taking on these other things, personalities and their characteristics, it becomes very scary because it's not scary for you. It's scary for the people who are around you because you really don't know. You're not paying attention. Like the Monroe house as well. It's a negative based house. And what I did is I fed it what it was looking for. I give a haunted place what it's looking for to get the best evidence. So what I did was there's a lot of negativity inside this Monroe house. That's in Indiana as well. And what I did was I ran audio of people arguing throughout the house, of a couple arguing, which caused a lot of negative activity. We got this one EVP. It says, "Neal, please kill, kill, kill." Oh. And so when you start hearing things like that, you're like, "Oh, damn." Yeah. But that, there's actually quite a few, but I would say that one that I told you originally that was in my bedroom, my own house. That's what it got me.
Yeah, we will definitely be joining you guys at the Roth House and checking out some of your investigations, because that sounds like a perfect way to celebrate Halloween.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Or just like a typical Thursday.
Yeah.
That's all.
Yeah,
I
that's
mean,
For us, yeah.
For some people, it will be.
Awesome. Neal, thank you so much for coming on. It's truly been a pleasure, and it was so much fun talking to you and just picking your brain a little bit.
Yeah.
I appreciate it. I'll send you guys over some of those pictures. You guys can throw on your
Yes.
sites if you want. Just if you want to share.
Of course.
Please do.
Definitely. Thank you.
Yes,
You're more than
thank
welcome.
you so much. And just remember, guys, if you ever find yourself at a haunted house or in a horror movie, don't have sex.
Don't do drugs.
And certainly don't die. We'll see you next time.
Thanks,
Bye.
guys.